This video is everything you'll ever need to know about removing backgrounds in Premiere Pro. Now this video will be split up into a few different parts. First off are the two different ways to remove backgrounds, the two different ways I use and pretty much the only ways you'll ever need. And then we're going to talk about some common issues that everyone runs into while removing backgrounds, including myself. These are just issues you can't run away from and everybody will encounter at some point. So we're going to discuss all of that today. Starting out, there's a couple basic things you need to know. The first is that the background that you want to remove, the number one key thing about it is that it is a clear, clean plate with as little difference in color and contrast as possible, because I'll show you what happened. Let's use this. We're going to use this cloud scene as my background. We're going to drag it in. And then because we want this to be under, we're going to leave it on the lower layer. So video layer 1 is fine. So we're going to drag this above. We're going to look up color key. And what color key does, drag this on your clip. What color key does is it allows you to select a color in your video that you want to be removed, and whatever is behind that video layer or under that video layer will be revealed where that color is now gone. So as you can see, we'll go to this eyedropper and we'll click on the sky right about here that we want to remove. And to make it go away, you'll go here to your color tolerance and crank it up. And as you can see, our background is revealed. But as you can see, when you start to remove it all, that's when you start to take stuff out that you want to stay in. So we're just going to press Command Z to undo, and we're going to redo it. Now, hack number 1, because like I said, you can see there was too much contrast in this. But luckily, you can actually add the same color key effect again to the same clip. And now with the eyedropper, select the last part of the video that is not keyed out, adjust the color tolerance. So that's my first pro tip, is to use more than one color key to remove your background. Now there are instances when you won't be able to remove it because there's too much contrast. Let me show you when. That would be an instance like this. There's a lot of contrast. Like it looks like this would be an easy key, right? But it's actually not, because there's a lot of the same colors in the background as well as the foreground. Like there's a lot of the same blue in the sky as there is in the building. So let's see what happens when we go to color key this. Click the eyedropper, we're gonna hit the sky, and let's just slowly see what happens. So already you can see it looks like it's gonna work, but then you crank it up and there's already like these buildings, there's already sky behind the buildings. This is a prime example of something you really cannot move the background on because of how similar the colors are in the background and the foreground. And one thing to think about, like think about green screens. Green is a color that's not so common in like actual footage because it's so bright neon green, and that's why people use green screens to be able to keep themselves out. But before we get into the next part of the video, I just want to remind you guys to subscribe, drop a like, drop a comment, let us know what you want to learn next. We're still a small channel, so any and all engagement really helps us out. Back to the video. So for this next example, we're going to use this studio shot, girl in the foreground, complete white background. And instead of using color key, we're going to use ultra key, which they've worked very similarly. You would think this would be a fairly easy key. It's fully white, but you also have to consider the things that are white in the person you want to keep in, like this white shirt she has on. So be cognizant, because watch what happens. Say we want to take this color out. Whether you want a relaxed, aggressive, or custom key, aggressive will be the most aggressive, so it has the lowest tolerance for the color, which means most of the color will be gone when you use aggressive, versus relaxed is just a bit more, well, relaxed. You also have a lot more customizability with these options, matte generation, matte cleanup. These are all just little things you can tweak to really define your subjects. But we're going to run into an issue here, and we're going to do this eyedropper. We're going to eyedrop it, and we're going to do aggressive because we want this full background gone. Now, the main thing you'll want to change is the transparency. But watch this. Everything's fine. But wait a minute. Her shirt's going away. So what do? You make a mask, not opacity mask. You use a mask with the ultra key. And now you can do this mask with color key as well as ultra key. The main thing that's white in here will be her eyes as well as her shirt. So we're just going to mask around her eyes as well as her shirt, and click invert. So nothing inside of this mask will be affected. So now when we go and adjust the transparency, you'll see it now stays. And now you'll just go down the list of these, adjusting each slider until you get it as perfect as possible. And you can see just like the tiny differences this makes. Like choke, you can see it's going from her hair Take it away, take it away, take it away. Soften, softens your edges, almost like a mask feather. Down here is a bit messy. What you can do is you can go back, and what's good is that this person isn't really moving that much. So you can go back and adjust it like this. And now to get rid of this white, what do we do? Go to color key, drag it on the clip. Now you have ultra key and color key together. So we're gonna hit this white, color tolerance, drop it down, drop it down, drop it down, right to about here. And then we'll do one more color key and we'll click this color now. This is the exact issue you will likely run into. The colors are too similar. So again, you use your mask and you do mask around here. I'm just selecting the area I want to be keyed out. And now when we adjust the tolerance, only that area is affected. And again, it's not perfect, but these are the issues you're gonna run into with Premiere. It's not gonna be perfect every time. The cleaner and more different your background is from your subject, the easier it will be. And we don't have access to rotoscoping in Premiere like we do with After Effects, but that's a video for another day. So for this example, I have a clip from a Don Toliver music video where I want to put a moon in the sky rather than it just being at nighttime. So I got this clip of this moon and I think it'll work good, which brings me to an important point is that you want to make sure your background footage that you use in the clip you're replacing the sky with matches. And that starts with finding the right footage, finding footage of clouds, of sun, of lighting, especially that match the scene already. So for this example, it works well because they're both nighttime scenes, but I'll talk a little bit about how to blend them together so they look supernatural and real. So we'll start off by dragging our moonshot below the Don Toliver clip like this. And then we're going to go to color key right here on the right, drag it on. And because you can see here, there's like some mist. We're just going to create a brief mask around the area we want it to be affected, just so it doesn't take away any of this fog that we want to keep in. So again, you don't use the opacity mask, you use the mask under the color key, and then you just draw around as accurately as possible where you want your color to be taken away from. And it doesn't need to be perfect, just, you know, as close as you can get it to be, because we can also adjust it with the mask feather. So I'm just going to do this quick. Okay, and now anything that is inside of this mask will only be affected. So we're going to click on our color, which is the black color, and we're going to take our tolerance until we see it. And the thing you want to be careful of here is you don't want this light to be like too affected. So we're just going to bring it down here and you're just going to want to play with your edge feather until you get it to where it still looks natural, to where there's still light going around. And that looks pretty good. So I have color tolerance at 30 and edge feather at 27. And let's just watch this. And now you can see there's like it's kind of weird right here. So what you'll want to do is you'll go to color key mask and just start feathering it out. And usually I like to get rid of the mask. So just click on your clip and then click on this back on your top clip so you don't see the actual mask around it. And just play with the feather until it looks pretty natural. So you can see here like there's harsh edges, but when you go to your feather, crank it up and now it's just much smoother. Now we can adjust our bottom layer to put the moon exactly where we want it. And again, we can just keep making these subtle changes to the mask, maybe increase the feather a tiny bit until it's just very well blended. Now we want to make this look as real as possible. And you're going to want to do that by color grading. So let's click on our bottom layer and let's go to Lumetri color. And now when you adjust these shadows, the tint, you're just going to want to play with it until you get that very similar look as to your original foreground. So drop the coolness down because it is a cooler tone. It's all about just making these fine adjustments, right? You can see there's a bit of a color difference between the black, so you can always go to your top clip because this is the background of the top clip. You can see it in contrast and just drop your blacks down a bit until they match perfectly. And you can see there's kind of like this top footage is like very HD, almost too good than the bottom. So what you'll do, back to effects, search up grain and add noise to your clip. Scroll down and just adjust the amount of noise until it kind of matches. And then the last tip, nest these two clips together. And now you can adjust the color on both of these as a nest to really dial everything in. And there you go. So color key and ultra key are really the only tools you'll need to remove backgrounds in Premiere. Don't forget to check out Mirror Camp and join our online school for more.